guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie and today I'm going to be sharing with you my 2020 reading plans. This is not going to be a TBR video. I plan to do a whole separate video for all of the books that I want to read in 2020. These are just my overall generalized reading plans. I'm going to try and keep this short and concise, so I have 5 generalized goals to share with you. My first 2020 reading goal is to stop reading books because I feel pressured to read them. There are so many books I feel pressured to read because I have to make content, and anyone who is a YouTube creator wants people to actually want to watch their videos. And so from a booktuber standpoint, you want to read books that other people care to hear about because you're going to be talking about those books on your channel. This doesn't necessarily mean that I personally feel like I have to read a specific book that I'm not really interested in. It's just I feel so much pressure to read all of these different amazing books that I hear about, and I want to be relevant. I want to read those books because I want people to watch my channel. I want people to care about what I have to say about the books that I'm reading, because that is the whole point of my BookTube channel. But after being on BookTube for a whole year, I have noticed that my reading life has completely changed. In some ways, very much for the better, but in other ways, I feel like it's negatively been affected because I've found myself not reading books that I actually want to read, that I'm really excited for. I've been reading a lot of books that I'm interested in because I've heard other booktubers talk about it, but not ones that are really high on my TBR. And because of that, I've missed out on some of my most anticipated releases and some of my favorite authors, and I just haven't read any of those books because I've been so preoccupied with reading the other books that everyone else is reading. And that is not because anyone has put pressure on me to read those books. Those are just books that I've pressured myself to read, even when I didn't really feel like reading them. And don't get me wrong, most of the books that I have read because I felt pressured to do so were actually really great. I really loved and I really enjoyed, and I love talking about them. But next year, I really just want to keep it chill. I don't want to put so much pressure on myself to read a long list of books. I will get to them eventually and it will be okay. I'm just not going to put as much pressure on myself to read more, because reading is a passion. It's a hobby. If you let yourself feel that pressure, if you put the pressure on yourself, it kind of takes the enjoyment out of reading, and I don't want that to happen to me. So in 2020, I am going to try and not pressure myself so much because I don't want to be stressed out. You don't want to be stressed out. You don't want me to be stressed out. My second reading goal for 2020 is to reread more books. I have been in such a rereading mood. I love to reread books. I love to revisit old favorites. I love to spend time with old favorite characters, and spend time in old worlds that I used to love. And I want to freshen that love for them again, so I love rereading books. And that's something that I've been doing a lot recently, but I want to continue that on into next year. Because of BookTube, I've felt like I couldn't reread as much as I wanted to because, again, you have to make content. If you're a creator on BookTube, you have to make videos talking about the books that you're reading, because that's what BookTube is. And if all you're doing is rereading books that you've already talked about all the time on your channel, like, that's what you want to do, you can do it, but odds are you're going to have viewers that are going to fall away because you're not talking about anything new. And for a while, I felt like I couldn't reread old favorites just because of this reason, not because anyone told me I couldn't, not because anyone pressured me and, tried to steer me away from rereading books. That's not it at all. I'm just saying, as a content creator, I want people to be interested in what I have to say. And if I'm just a robot talking about the same things all the time, odds are people aren't gonna want to watch my channel anymore, and obviously I don't want that to happen either. But I'm kind of gonna put that aside for next year, and if I want to reread a book, I'm just going to reread it, as long as I have a healthy balance. You guys, I know, my dedicated viewers, I know you want to continue watching my channel, and I do know I have quite a few BookTube friends and acquaintances who will continue to watch my channel no matter what I talk about. But at the same time, I want to be proud of the content I'm creating. I want to talk about new and fresh things. I want to continue to read new books, continue to plow through my TBR, but also, if I feel like rereading a book, I'm just going to reread it. I don't want to hold myself back from reading something that I know I love. Rereading is also a useful tool for me to not go into reading slumps. If I'm reading a bunch of books that are just kind of mediocre, or I feel myself getting a little slumpy, it's because I want to be engrossed in a story again. I want to be completely gripped by a story, and that's usually when I go back to books that I've already read before, because I know I love them, I know I love the worlds, I know I love the characters, and I know that they will grip me like I want, and they will remind me why I love reading. And I'm just going to do that for myself next year. I'm not going to hold myself back. And since I mentioned plowing through my TBR, my third reading goal for next year is to plow through my TBR. I have so many books that I need to read, and I want to read all of them, or else I wouldn't have bought them. I am interested in them, some more than others, and some it may take me even a couple of years to get to. But if I continue buying books like I buy books, and I don't make it through my TBR, that's when things back up to where I have all of these, and it's got to stop. Which leads me to another point, that I need to stop buying so many books. Maybe I can set a goal for myself. If I go through so many books on my TBR, then I can purchase that many more books, or I need to come up with a system, because right now I'm just buying whatever book I know I want to read eventually, and I just go ahead and purchase it. Like, if I see it at a bargain price, I'll go ahead and buy it anyway, even though I know I won't read it in the next few weeks or the next few months. And sometimes I know I won't even read it in the next few years, because I have so many books on my TBR, but I buy it anyway, and that needs to stop because I'm getting backed up. I already have 5 bookshelves, top to bottom, filled with books, and I need to read more books that I own on my TBR, because it's getting out of hand, y'all. So while I do want to reread a lot of books, I should probably also come up with a system, like if I read so many books on my TBR, then I get to reread a book. Maybe that'll work. We'll see. Reading goal number 4 is to read more retellings. Recently, I've been in the mood to read a lot more retellings. I just got back from a week's vacation at Disney World, and it has me all up in the Disney feels, all up in the fairy tales. I want to read as many retellings as I can right now. That may change, in the next couple months. Maybe I'll get into 2020 and I'll be out of the mood to read those types of books, but as of right now, that's one of my goals. I want to read more retellings. So if you have any good recommendations, leave them in the comments down below for me. And the 5th and final goal I have to share with you guys is I want to read more graphic novels and comics. This year I've read my first comics, and the year before I read my first graphic novels. I'm just starting to get into graphic novels and comics, and I never thought I would actually like them. I've always steered clear of them because honestly, I don't mean to offend anyone, but I honestly did not understand the point, because to me it wasn't like reading a book. But obviously I was wrong. I'm so glad my assumptions were wrong, because I'm really starting to like graphic novels. When I say comics, I mostly mean the Avatar: The Last Airbender comics, because that is my thing now. I participated in the Avatar: The Last Airbender readathon in September, and that is when I purchased and read my first Avatar: The Last Airbender comics, and I can't stop, y'all. I wish comic books weren't so expensive. I wish graphic novels weren't so expensive. I have so many Avatar comics on my wish list that my family literally refused. They flat out told me that they will not buy me any Avatar comics for Christmas. Even though that's pretty much one of the only things I want. They asked me what I wanted for Christmas. That's what I told them, and they flat out told me no. I'll eventually buy them all myself and read them. It may take me a while, which is why it's one of my reading goals for 2020. So with that being said, if you also have any graphic novel recommendations, leave them in the comments down below for me. Also, let me know how you read your graphic novels, like where you get them from. Do you go to your local library, or do you just purchase them all? Because they are very expensive. As much as I am loving graphic novels right now, I don't want to spend all of my money on graphic novels and not be able to purchase any regular novels. So I'm kind of in a dilemma right now, but my local library doesn't have any kind of graphic novel selection. They do have some comics, but their graphic novel selection is 5 or less books. So How do you read your graphic novels? Do you just have like a really great library, or do you just spend all of your book money on graphic novels? Alright everybody, those are the top 5 reading goals I have for 2020. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more bookish content by me. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.